So welcome to another video from Physics with Cyrus, and in this video I'm going to solve paper 1 multiple choice question for O-level physics. This video is aimed for students appearing for mini exam series in July and August, right? So you should know that the MCQ paper is of 40 multiple choice questions, right? And the duration of the paper is 1 hour, right? So let us begin. So the first question is that which quantity is a vector? So your answer would be acceleration, right? Because acceleration has both the magnitude and direction, right? As far as distance, speed, and time are concerned, they are all scalar quantities. So the answer would be acceleration, right? Moving on. The diagram shows the resultant R of a 3 Newton force and a 4 Newton force that act at a point P, right? The angle between the 3 Newton force and the 4 Newton force can be any value from 0 to 90 degrees. Which value of R is not possible? So whenever you have a such question, you should pay particular attention to the bold letters, right? Bold words. So here it says that which value of R is not possible. So what you're going to do is that since 4 Newton is here, right? And if I join this 3 Newton along with 4 Newton at 0 degrees, the answer would be 7 Newton, right? And when I join this 3 Newton here, right, along with 4 Newton, my answer would be 5 Newton. The resultant would be 5 Newton because this is 3 Newton, and since it is a right angle triangle, this answer would be 5 Newton. You can apply the Pythagoras theorem, right? So you can have values between 5 Newton and 7 Newtons, right? So B is not possible, neither C nor 7. So A is the right answer, right? Moving on. Which is measured using a micrometer, right? Area is not measured using a micrometer, nor the current, nor the mass. It's the length. It's an instrument which measures the length, right? So it measures the diameters of different objects, small objects, right? So the answer would be C. Moving on. Stopwatches are used to time the runners in a race. The stopwatches show the times recorded for the winner and another runner, right? You have different times for winner and another runner. What is the difference in time between the winner and the other runner? So you have to figure out the difference, right, in the time. So you have this thing as 1 minute and 3.84 seconds. So this is going to be what? This is going to be precisely 1 minute is 60 seconds, right? You should know that. And plus 3.84 is going to be 63.84, right? And for this you have 57.76. So when you subtract 57.76 from 63.84, your answer is going to be 6.08, right? So the answer for this question is, by all means, it's B, right? Moving on. Two cameras are a known distance apart, right? The exact time that a vehicle passes each of the cameras is recorded. What can be obtained from the information? Okay? So you have two cameras. Whenever you have such sort of questions, it's appropriate that you make certain sort of diagram, right, for your own convenience. So you have two cameras. You have camera 1 and you have another camera. They are a distance d apart, right, let's say. And the exact time that a vehicle passes each of the cameras, let's say there is a vehicle which passes one of the cameras, right, and it passes the other cameras, the time for that is recorded, right? Let's say this is the vehicle, okay, and time is t. What can be obtained from the information? So you know that you have the distance, you have the time, so you can easily find the speed. For acceleration you require more things, right? You require the velocity, and as well as you don't have enough information to determine the maximum speed. So the answer is average speed. You have to find the total distance. You have the total distance and the time, and you can find the average speed. Moving on. A car of weight 11,000 Newton moves with a constant velocity along a horizontal road. So in this question they have laid particular emphasis. You should lay particular emphasis on the constant velocity. Whenever there is constant velocity, you should know that the object has zero acceleration, right, along a horizontal road. A driving force of 5,000 Newton acts on the car. What is opposing the motion of the car? What is the force opposing the motion of the car? So you should remember that the weight is 11,000, that is independent of the forward force. So what you're going to do here is that you have a vehicle of 11,000 Newton, right? And a driving force of 5,000 Newton acts. And since it's moving with constant velocity, acceleration is zero, so the resultant force should be zero, right? So the backward force should also be 5,000 newtons. That is the friction and the air drag, all of that. So the answer for this is A. So you have when you have resultant, zero resultant, you have by the formula F is equal to ma, zero acceleration, and you have constant velocity, right? Question number 7 is, a man with an open parachute falls to the earth at constant speed. The following forces act. P is the upward force of the parachute on the man. Q is the upward force of the man on the earth. R is the downward force of the earth on the parachute. And S is the downward force of the man on the parachute. You know, this is for the third law. It says that which two forces are a Newton's third law pair. For Newton's third law, you should remember that the action and reaction forces act on two different bodies, right? These forces are equal and opposite. So the only viable pair that I have here is for P and S, right? The upward force of the parachute on the man, right? So let's say this is a parachute, right? And this is the man, right? So the upward force of the parachute on the man is this, and the downward force of the man on the parachute is in this direction. So these are equal and opposite forces, and they're acting on two different bodies. So this perfectly defines Newton's third law. So C is the correct answer for this. Moving on. The diagram shows a motorcyclist leaning over in order to turn the corner to the left. Which force causes him to turn? Remember that whenever an object is moving in a circle, the force is always towards the center of the circle. So let's say the cyclist is moving in this direction like this, right? So this force is towards the center, right? And the answer would be A. In a circular motion, remember that the force, the centripetal force, that is the resultant force, is always towards the center. And also the acceleration is towards the center. And the linear velocity is always perpendicular to the force, right? So if this force diminishes in a way, let's say, if there is a string there and it breaks, right, the object will move in the direction of the velocity, right? So this is the concept behind circular motion. An object weighs 40 Newton on Earth where the gravitational field strength is 10 Newton per kg. The object is taken to a planet where the gravitational field strength is 4 Newton per kg. Which row is correct? So the object weighs 40 Newton on the Earth, and you have to find the mass of the object on the planet, right, and the weight of the object on the planet, right? You have a different planet, right? On Earth, it has a weight of 40 Newton, and the gravitational field strength has been given as 10 Newton per kg. So what you're going to do is you're going to write the formula W is equal to mg, where W is what? That is the weight, that is 40, and you'll multiply mass with the gravitational field strength to get the mass of 4 kilograms. So now you have the mass as 4 kilograms, and this mass would not change anywhere, right? It would be the same. However, since the planet has a gravitational field strength of 4 Newton per kg, you can find the weight on the planet as mg, and the mass you know is 4, and the gravitational field strength is again 4. So the answer is 16 Newton. So B is the correct answer. right? Moving on. So this question is about the density, right? The diagram shows the equipment used to determine the density of a liquid, right? And which equation is used to calculate the density of the liquid. So in order to find the density of the liquid, what you should have is you should have the mass of the liquid and you should have the volume of the liquid. So what you can do is you can first weigh the uh, you can find the mass of the beaker and the water, that is 175.03, right? And then you can subtract, as in mass, you can find the mass of the beaker as well, right? And you can subtract the mass of the beaker from the mass of the beaker and the liquid, right? That will give you the mass of the liquid. That will give you the mass of the liquid. So once you have found out that, you know the density, this is the symbol for the density, that is also known as rho, is mass per unit volume, right? So this is the method how you can find the density of the liquid.